You are watching
Trinity Episcopal School Production Network. TESPN.
Welcome to this week's TESPN Podcast, and we are joined by three senior football players, Cameron Walker, Bowen Knight, James Woodward, along with senior soccer player Joe Turkley, who's going to help me interview these football guys and get to know them a little bit better for Titan Nation. So, as we film this, you guys are coming off a hard-fought comeback win against St. Christopher's, 28-24 on the road after double-digit deficit. All three of you had huge games. Cameron and Bowen both making tons of tackles, getting in the backfield. And then, James, you ran the ball. I don't have the stats. I should have looked that up before, but great job at running back as well as playing in the secondary. And a big touchdown that really turned the tide in the game, I thought. So the first thing I want to ask you all is very football related. We know this team has a ton of talent, has a target on its back, is two-time defending state champions, and has dealt with kind of an injury crisis this fall. I mean, it's almost an unprecedented amount of injuries, even for a sport like football. So for you three as senior leaders on this team who've kind of seen it all in your years in the program, how do you keep the team focused, keep the team hungry when you've already got rings, and just make the most of this final football season you guys have in high school?
Yeah, a lot of it is about going through every week. As we say, we just want to go 1-0 every week. I mean, it's really just taking every day of practice, every rep, like stretch lines every day is a big thing for us, just like being organized and like on point. It's really just taking every day in stride, every week in stride, and really the season as itself, as we go throughout, or like once we look back on it at the end, I mean, our record's our record, but our goal is to just go 1 every week.
Also, I think we've learned this year that we really are the sum of our parts. I mean, going into this week's game, none of us really knew exactly what we were going to play. I mean, Cam and I were at different positions than we are used to playing.
Whatever they game plan worked out.
Worked out.
Y'all were living in the backfield.
Going into a week, we never knew who was going to play what. I mean, Woody on both sides of the ball. We just worked as a team.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of young guys step into much larger roles than we've had anticipated for them. Like Khalid Rayner specifically. First game of the season, Cornell Island broke his leg. He had to step in as a freshman against one of the top teams in the nation and did an amazing job. And he has continued to do so throughout the season.
Yeah, so I know you guys all take academics very, very seriously. You guys are all very involved at Trinity. So I was just wondering how, after a long day of classes and tests and such, what do you do to lock in and get your mind out of the academic side and on the field before a game?
I would say for me that's practice, the practice itself. I see football not as something where I'm constantly thinking like I am in school. It's really more of a mental break. I'm just out there, vibing, having fun, doing what I do. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I see football.
Yeah, I can relate to that. This year, one of the biggest differences as a football player has been not taking it so seriously. Realizing that we're playing it to have fun, and ultimately that's led to greater success, both on the field and off the field.
Yeah, football just gives me energy, sort of I could be tired, falling asleep in my last class of the day, and then when I step in the locker room, there's just energy that you kind of feed into, and all the guys playing on the speaker and having fun, getting ready even before practice. It's the environment.
So all three of you have contributed on the field prior to this season, but I think it's fair to say all of your roles have expanded now as seniors. And I just wanted to ask each of you individually, in terms of on the field, what your individual goals might be this year, and then also collectively, what is a team goal?
My individual goal, I think mine is really tied in with the team itself. I just want to, three-peat. I want to close out, my 5 years of football here at Trinity, with another state title. And, I did have, a sack goal as a defensive end, that I used to play. like a sack goal, TFL, stuff like that. But like as I've like gone into the season, I've realized that aspect of it like isn't really that important to me. I mean, I really just want to win games, have fun with my teammates, enjoy like my last few games, playing football, for Trinity. And really, I just want to see the team win. I mean, I playing like linebacker, defensive end, like every special teams. Like it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I think I can agree on a high level. I mean, it's been a big emphasis, largely with Coach Rayner, that we are our brother's keeper, and that doesn't matter what we're doing on the field. It doesn't matter how many tackles we get. Sometimes it just means blowing somebody up and allowing for someone else to make a play. I think Cam and I have both been a big part of that, and Woody as well.
Yeah, I mean, like the individual, like statistics, it doesn't really matter so much. Like as long as someone makes a play, I mean, obviously our goal is the only thing that really matters is winning the state championship at the end of the year. So whether that means like long snapping or being on both kickoff, kick return, like filling in wherever you're needed. I mean,
How tired are you at the end of a game, Woody?
usually pretty tired, but no, it's worth it to win.
Yeah, when you're doing anything. Yeah, the last thing, I mean, when I was like last year, like years prior, and like a lot of like the young guys, I see them like they're focused on, I need to get offers, I need to get, recognized by colleges, and while having like those goals for yourself, I mean, obviously there's a lot more to your life than like these 4 years of football, right? I mean, you gotta have a future, but I mean, I think this season I've really just been able to step back and be like, I mean, film is film. I mean, what I put on tape is what I put on tape, but at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I want to win more than anything, and I don't want to, put myself and, my stats or whatever over the success of the team.
Yeah, as you guys touched on, it really seems like this team is a brotherhood and a family, especially this year dealing with all these injuries. Who is someone on the team that you look for as a source of motivation when you're tired or you just need that extra boost of energy?
Cameron Walker. Every play. No, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. Every play, if you watch the film of every game, you can see him just, if the pass down the field or anything, he's running down, giving his best effort on every special teams, everything. So that's like a model and example that really anyone can take, like, and look at as an example for any facet of their lives.
I mean, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to sit between arguably the hardest workers on the team. So they've been great examples to me in that sense. Yeah, both of them in film. I mean, Woody's probably not going to talk about himself, but you see him running hard after the play, even if they can't even make it. Like they're still running as hard as they can.
Yeah.
I mean, like I wouldn't want either of them running directly at me.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. I would say for me, yeah, it's like Woody and Jay. I mean, every day at practice, before, I mean, some of the guys even like start like getting changed like their practice, clothes. Like Woody's already, walking up the field and like stretching, going through his routine, and like the work that he put in, that he puts in, like the time that he puts behind it, and like the effort and like the like how organized it is, like every day, and like how routinely it is. I mean, I just never seen anything like it, like at school, like in general. I mean, like it like really in my life, and the way he does that is like really inspirational.
Well, I gotta say, I've taught each of you. I never had the chance to teach Woody, but even going back to his 10th grade year, if anyone who watched the TESPN broadcast, like I was president of the Woody fan club, just as a smaller guy myself. I was like, who is this like 5'5" cornerback that's like, I mean, he's probably a little taller than that now, but it was just so impressive to me, playing at such a high level and contributing on an incredible, ultimately state championship team when, you're not that kid that if you walk through the mall, everyone's like, that guy must play football, and that's really, but you control what you can control, which is really impressive. One last football question. It has to do with this coming Saturday. So just over 48 hours from now, you're going to have your senior day at Aycock Stadium right behind us. Probably your last time playing on that field. I think there's still an outside chance maybe of a home playoff game, but there's no guarantees of that. So for your senior day, plus the stakes of the game are extremely high. A win gets you a Prep League championship for a second consecutive year. I don't know if it clinches a state playoff berth, but it puts you in a much better position to push for that three-peat that you all have talked about. Woodbury Forest coming in here to Trinity, to Aycock Stadium. Just what are your thoughts heading into y'all's senior day, about that day specifically?
Yeah, my thought process like regarding that, I mean it's my senior day. I mean, and like I want to win, but I also like want to enjoy the moment first. I mean, like the time when like you walk out with your parents and like the dinner or the breakfast or like the stuff, like the celebration of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really want to enjoy that because I mean I'm never gonna have anything like that in my life like really ever again. I mean, you want to enjoy that moment and really live in it and be present. You don't want to be like I guess like locked into the game so much. But after that, I mean, it's game time. I mean, it's a really important game. You gotta win. I mean, maybe like have like some more fun like afterward. Like once you like really put in the work and like that you're in like a good position. But yeah, I would say enjoy the moment before the game. But like once the game comes, just plug in.
Yeah, you mentioned putting in the work, and I think all of us recognized a lot in the St. Chris game how much fun putting in the work is. Like when you recognize that it's a war. I mean, football's a war, but that's what's fun about it. And I think when we put in the work, we'll be able to enjoy the result. And I mean, that's the reward of being a senior.
Well, like obviously our coaches do a great job preparing us for this game. So I mean, we'll just approach it like every other game, do our best to win.
Yeah, I mean, this being your last home game, I was wondering if you guys, do you enjoy playing in the home crowd atmosphere more, or do you enjoy playing away at a rival game like St. Chris where the opposing team's fans are chirping you and you got something to prove, or do you like the home field better?
Personally, I prefer, especially you mentioned St. Chris, there's no better feeling than beating those guys in front of their brothers and fathers.
Yeah.
No, Woody got his revenge last game.
Yeah.
I was so happy for him. I feel like there are pros and cons to each one. Like when you're at home, like you feel again like you're at home like with your people, like it's your time to like show off for like your own people, like your family, your friends, stuff like that. And when you're away, it's more like you're the underdog and you're like going into like the belly of the beast, to really, I mean, as Coach Biggin says, like take something from them, right? And like kind of like ruin their day and leave, and like kind of like bully ball. But I would say I like the home environment more, just because I mean, like like my parents are there, like my friends are there, and I really get to like show off on this field. So.
Personally, I like playing away a lot. I mean, especially at the St. Chris game. I've been out most of the season with dealing with a hamstring injury, and I feel like playing at home, getting my name out there, being known. Like, I feel like people recognize the name. This is a small community. We're all friends here, but at St. Chris, it's different because the announcers were kind of like, "Who is this kid?" And that was something I could appreciate.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, and one of my favorite things that I, as a coach, have said a lot before away games is a Michael Jordan quote, which Michael Jordan, when he played, said, like, every game, I'm always at full motivation because I know someone will be there tonight who's never seen me play before and will never see me play again. And so that is one thing about when you go on the road, like, that might be the only time they ever see Bowen night. And so that I think that can provide a little extra motivation. All right, switching gears to off the field, all three of you are hugely impactful members of this community off the field. Cameron, Honor Committee, SGA, Black Alliance Initiative, one of the co-founders, and I know I'm leaving a ton of stuff out. I can't even remember all the things you've contributed to. Bowen, you of course also on Honor Committee, and many different clubs, and James with your amazing artwork that you do off the field. And Joe touched on this a little bit about like your typical day. You all put a ton in academically, and then you got to go out to a football practice for 2.5, 3 hours, but in a more, not a daily basis, but more like a week to week, month to month, and ultimately in a few months when you walk across that stage and graduate, how do the things that you do off the field make you want to be remembered in this community?
To answer that question, that's a unique question. Like how do those things like make you want to be remembered? I feel like I want to be remembered as somebody who is more than an athlete in a lot of ways, because especially like around Trinity, I feel like, just like to be blunt, like a lot of like, you know, black males are seen as, you know, oh, they're just going to private school because it's good for sports and stuff like that. But I want to be somebody that, you know, younger kids can look up to and be like, hey, I can be, you know, a great, you know, outstanding athlete, but also, you know, be involved in my community in a lot of different ways and really have an impact in that aspect of it.
Well, you definitely have done that. 100%, Cameron.
Yeah,
Bill, how about you?
I can relate to him in wanting to make an impact on the younger kids, give them something to look up to, and I feel like generations before us have done that very well, and they're good to look up to for me personally, and I want to leave a similar impact, but equally as much as I want to leave an impact, I mean, you get out what you put in, and so that's my goal.
Yeah, I'd like to be remembered as someone who just had like a lot of different skills and abilities. Because like people are like, when they see the stuff I do, like they're like, oh, that's yours. You like kind of like a surprise almost. So it's just like nice like to be able to kind of maybe break a mold of what you typically expect from someone.
Absolutely. Well, really, truly, you three, well, you four, Joe as well, have contributed so much beyond the field that, you know, I think football is an important part of your lives, but that's just a footnote, really, in everything you've done. All right, let's. That was kind of a heavy, thought-provoking question. Let's do a little more fun here at the end, just a little lightning round. Okay, what's your favorite pregame hype song to get you ready to play before a game?
For me, it's PSA by K-Fly.
Power by Kanye West.
Power is a good one. Sometimes I actually like to turn off the music. There's this one like church song that I kind of jokingly play to get me like calmed down before a game, and it's called Homeward Bound.
Okay. What's your favorite class that you've taken in high school?
I say Mr. Howard's math classes have always been like pretty fun. I know like I started like geometry as like an 8th grader, and like it's usually been like kids older than me. Like when I was in 8th grade, it was like freshmen, and then like last year or like my junior year and sophomore year, it was like me and like seniors in my class, and like just like the joking around and like the way he like teaches was like really engaging and fun. And he's just like also like a really funny guy. So
Yeah, well, obviously, since you did BC calculus as a junior, I'm pretty sure it didn't come too difficult either.
No, I actually agree with that. I took geometry as a freshman, and he makes it fun by including people and like making jokes with people, and sometimes it includes like making stuff up and planning like fake marriages and stuff. Like, it's all sorts of stuff, but it's fun. Yeah.
My sophomore year chemistry class with Dr. Pucci. That was just a really great group of people in that class.
Who's an older teammate, someone that's now graduated, that you looked up to the most?
I have a lot of guys. I mean, you know, Hunter Brooks, you know, Elijah, Rio, Bach, a lot of guys that I've looked up to. It's hard to choose one, but I really like the way that, I mean, just something about all of them is that, I mean, I came as an 8th grade like 2019, and we weren't, you know, the best. I mean, it was long before our state title, you know, 2 years ago. But, I mean, I just respected the way that they put this program together. Like, they really built it from nothing. And, I mean, the guys before them also deserve credit. But it's really just the way that they brought this program from, you know, an okay Division I program to, like, you know, the greatest, you know, private school football program in Virginia. I mean, it's just crazy, like, the work that they put in.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much said it all. For me, it was largely under the linebacker core last year, so a lot of the people that he mentioned. But yeah, they were great examples on the field and off the field too. They showed how to handle yourself in situations that were rough. before everything was easier at Trinity, before we were known.
For me, it was Andrew Duhart my freshman year. He was someone that I came into not having played football before high school, and he's someone that took time with me who was maybe not the greatest prospect at the time.
Well, I got a couple more, but I just have to point out that these young men are so thoughtful that even the lightning round is like a long storm because they got a lot to say. All right, just a little bit quicker. Who is just pick one, funniest teammate this year?
We'll
start with James.
Deuce has got to be up there. Deuce and Jay, maybe.
Yeah, Deuce and Jay.
Oh, Trey Cherry.
Big Mike.
Big Mike, yeah, no, Big Mike he just be wild.
Coach Wally.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Because the interview.
Okay.
He just wild.
If you could, if money was no object and you could live anywhere in the world, where do you think you'd want to live?
Shoot.
I'm saying Indiana. Yeah. Indiana. No context.
Maybe Australia.
Australia would be cool. I don't know, somewhere on the beach.
And who's your favorite football player, like a professional or team?
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. I mean, no, not for me. That just makes sense. I mean, the Jets are my favorite team. Yeah.
From a D lineman standpoint, I mean, Aaron Donald, just like the way he like dominates all the time. It's crazy.
All right, last one. Finish this sentence. 10 years from now, I will be
in a Lambo somewhere on the road.
Probably married with some kids and maybe those kids. In a Lambo, yeah, or Porsches.
10 years, maybe starting coaching.
That's great. I have no doubt all of you will reach all your dreams. Really 3 just incredible student athletes that are fun to root for, and it's so neat to see, especially like I said this year, all of you have contributed in a huge way, and it's not been the easiest season, but I think that's what's going to make it the most rewarding season when it's all said and done. So thank you so much to my colleague Joe Turkley, as well as these 3 senior football players, James Woodward, Bowen Knight, Cam Walker. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.